Asmon's definitely way bigger than me, but that like to 100%.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Walk with us as we escort you to safety, experience, and the adventure of a lifetime.
New World and Crowfall are brand new games coming out. Crowfall came out Tuesday. New World's coming out in August. It means that we have fresh new games for 2021. I mean, obviously, we still have other games like Sword of Legends Online, but we're not counting that one. So it makes you wonder if this will change anything. Now, for me, I'm sitting here thinking we have the big games out there. We have Star Wars: The Old Republic, we have World of Warcraft, we have Final Fantasy XIV, Elder Scrolls Online. The other smaller games out there like BDO, they're out there. So I look at these two games thinking I don't think they've come in and broken anything. When Crowfall was first being developed, when they first kickstarted it back 5-6 years ago, it was a opportunity for a brand new idea, IP. And it still is. It is still a brand new idea. Crowfall is based around the fact that you are a crow, you have a soul, so to speak, right? You have your own little kingdom. You can build your own little house, right? So that's like cool. You invite friends over all the time. It's not actually in the world. It's your own little instance. But the idea is behind the game itself is that you as a solo person or as a guild, whatever, can join these different campaigns. The campaigns may last a month, or 3 months, or 6 months, or I don't know. That way, then you always have a fresh chance, a fresh shot at starting over again. New World has the idea of started being a PvP type of game. It's kind of more PvE. It's kind of both right now. And as Collective says, maybe New World might have a chance of dethroning World of Warcraft. Because people are seeking a new WoW. Okay, so I'm sitting here thinking, I don't think any of these two games are really going to shake things up. I think they're just another game of opportunity for people to play out there. So I'll give JahzealA a chance this time around. First off, what do you think? Do you think this has changed anything? These two new games?
These two games specifically, not really. I do appreciate that there are some new games out there to play, but I just don't see. Man, I don't know. Yeah, I think people are looking to get out of WoW, even if they're not admitting it right now, especially the veterans like myself and you that have been playing it for 15, 16 plus years. And we've got all that time and money invested into it. We're probably the ones that are saying, I'd like something new to do, but man, I invested so much into this. That's a sunken cost thing that we've talked about before, of course. And I don't know, man. Of these two games, I don't really see people going over there. I'm hearing way more people that are eager to see what happens with New World. But I think the problem with New World right now is that there's a lot of folks who are being very timid with it because of how many times it's been pushed back and the fact that AGS has had so many failures. Even if it wasn't really an AGS game, they were just the people that were giving it to us. They weren't necessarily the developers of said games. It still doesn't reflect good on the company. And I just have a sinking feeling that it's going to come out and there's going to be way more people who are interested in it, but are waiting to see what happens and how many people go over to play it. And they're probably going to wait 1 to 3 months, I would say. And at the end of that first month, maybe second month, definitely by the third month, then we'll start seeing if people are going to gravitate towards it or not. Because by then, all the reviews are out. All of us, especially us here at Trinity MMO Show, you're going to hear from us what we think of the game. You're going to be seeing all the other reviewers out there. And, then you can make a more informed choice on whether you want to put the money into it or not. And I can't blame them. I don't know, of all the games that we know about right now, and I'm even going to throw Lost Ark in there, even though it's an isometric game and it's very different. In fact, most people think it's just another Diablo clone, and it's not. It's actually an MMO. And it's very fun, to be truthful with you. It's very fun, but if you're looking for a World of Warcraft replacement, that's probably not going to be a WoW replacement for you, unless you're wanting WoW mixed with Diablo. Then yes.
Well, I mean, Collective has a very good point about basically New World is that he's concerned about the fact that it doesn't have enough content for the ADH people playing
it
the
doesn't.
games, right? It's like it's a vanilla WoW type of thing, so it's missing things. That's what it'll be his downfall.
If you think about those of us like myself, Asmongold, there's several other names. I'll just name myself an Asmon since Asmon's definitely way bigger than me, but you know, that like to 100%.
What? Really?
Yeah. that enjoy 100% in the game. We want to collect everything. We want to discover everything. We want to open, you know, get all the fog of war off the maps and get all the achievements and all that. There's just not that much in New World. And it's still even. I know they've added a lot of PvE stuff to do, but the game is still at its core about PvP. Yes, there's environment. There is environment stuff going on. There's little beasties and monsters and world bosses and things, and there are little quests to do and whatnot, but they all are still about building up your encampment and defending your encampment and taking over other encampments. That's really the core of the game. And if the idea of if you want a PvE, you can, but you're just supporting the PvE guys and gals.
I want to draw you back to the original question. So, do you think that New World and Crowfall are going to basically changing anything?
Well,
are they going to make a big dent or change to the world of MMOs?
Well, that's it comes back to that, though. No, not really. I mean, not really.
I mean, I know we talked about Final Fantasy 14 being a WoW killer, and we answered that it could be, but not really. I mean, it's more of a timing of things. So these two games, you know, Crowfall or New World, or even like the Sword of Legend Online, is not really going to do anything. It's like this nice little niche games, really, in a sense.
Well, and that's why I brought in Lost Ark, though, is because it at least is a little different, and that it's an isometric game, and it's definitely in a different environment and whatnot, and it has a pretty good story as well, and pretty good progression. And as long as they bring it over here without all the pay-to-win mechanics, it'll be fantastic. But and I think the same thing about Blue Protocol, which is not coming out this year, guys. I know there's every month there's a new rumor, but do I think that's going to topple WoW? Probably not.
Okay. Well, I'm toss it to Solomon now. Okay, see what he
Okay.
thinks about all this stuff.
I'm sorry.
You know, no, you're fine. Just what about you, Solomon? You know, do you think these games are make a big dent or anything? It's changing anything in 121?
No.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
So like, what more else is there to say? It's just...
So Solomon said it no, and SirJahzeal said no.
No.
No,
Well,
I mean, I was just curious. You know, sorry.
I thought you wanted detail. Why?
I know.
No.
I'm joking. I'm messing with you. Okay.
Okay.
You know more to add, Solomon, to that? You don't think no? It's not. That's it. No
No,
elaboration
I mean,
needed.
just briefly, I think you could probably. Now, I hope I'm terribly wrong with this, but I think you could probably equate the MMO genre in general, similar to, I guess, like nu metal from the 90s, if I'm going to borrow another genre. You know, back in the 90s, it was like, it was all about nu metal, right? You listen to Korn, you listen to the Deftones, and then you had like all the screamo bands that came after that, which is all fits under the umbrella of nu metal. But just rock and roll in general, it just isn't as popular as it once was. You know, it's all about pop, it's all about trap, it's all about EDM and stuff. Like if you look at the Billboard charts, it's like you hardly see any rock music at all these days. You know, the closest you're going to come to is probably like Coldplay. And so to answer the question, it's like, yeah, obviously I said no earlier, but that's because I think MMOs in general are going of the way of a very niche market. And so that's why you see tons of MMOs, but they've all been crowdfunded. They're all
Yeah.
crowdfunded games, and you don't see a whole lot of AAA companies making MMOs anymore, and with good reason. There just isn't a whole lot of there's just too much, what's the word I'm looking for, overhead, or there's too much capital and overhead and not enough margins, I guess. Not like they were back in the early 2000s, and so companies just don't want to deal with that anymore. And plus it technically, I guess you could say that the genre moved on to the mobile platform.
Yeah.
And even then, I wouldn't even call those MMOs.
Yeah.
Like they're just more like online RPGs, if anything. So yeah, I think that's why we're getting games like New World and what was the other game you talked about?
Crowfall.
Oh yeah, and Crowfall. Again, like I said, Crowfall, another crowdfunded game. You're gonna get games like that for years to come, because it's just not a market people are really interested in anymore, unfortunately. So.
Well, as collective notes, over 20 million people play MMOs. That's about 2/3 of the market. But you also know that if you look at Asia, MMOs dominate there.
And that's why if you're gonna look at a country that's actually been supporting the MMO genre almost single-handedly, and I'm exaggerating, it's South Korea, and now it's gonna be China, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I would say Japan's not a slouch.
But it's like they have like those 1 or 2 titles that everybody talks about, but in terms of sheer quantity, not quality, it's all coming from South Korea and China.
That's true.
Oh, that's cool. But hey, anybody on YouTube watching this, or anybody later on wants to give us their opinion, go ahead and post it into the notes, not the notes, into the chat, whatever it is, and we'll go from there. So thank you very much. Hopefully we escorted you correctly, and you did not fall off the cliff. Sometimes the escorts don't go well. Check out the further adventures of Kennethan by liking and subscribing and watching me live on twitch.tv/Kennethan.